the grid is lined up and ready. 24 cars around this 2.433 mile circuit here at Brands Hatch. The lights start to ignite on the starting gantry, and the first race tonight here at Brands Hatch gets underway. A lot of wheel spin from the outside of row number 3, but it looks like Matty Chambers has got the jump already on Ryan Martin. Martin goes to the inside, but it was high, wide and handsome from Matty Chambers, who leads the field up the Hellwood Hill, through into Druids for the opening time, sweeps in wide, nice and neatly. Someone's going a bit too wide on the outside. That looks to be Darren Perez, and we go. And straight away, that was Ollie Wayne, Liam Waterhouse involved. Chris Slater's ended up off the circuit. And, oh no, that's not what needed to happen. That was Matty Chambers within 5 corners. He's lost the lead, and that was down Graham Hill, down out of Graham Hill Bend and down the Cooper Straight. He rejoins, and I think he must be kicking himself. Not too sure what happened, if there might have been a slight touch between him and Ryan Martin. With these GR86s, they can be a bit of a handful. The slightest amount of contact, as you, myself and David have seen all season long, John, it can be the case. One slight touch and you are going around for a 360 whether you like it or not. But in the meantime, battle for second here. Chris Pauly looking up the inside of Craig Durant, and this is going to be into the next right-hander. Pauly sends it, gets through nice and neatly. He hasn't, because he had because Durant up the inside, that's through Sterling's, and now Tom Stevens has decided to join the fray. Looks to the outside on the round down through Clearways into Clark Curve, and they rub door panels and fenders ever so slightly. Stevens slots back into position, but Durant at the moment hangs on to third place. But Chris Pauly with a great move, that would have been through Westfield, got through on Durant, and now Stevens looking for the move through Paddock Hill Bend. That's going to be a brave one. And he holds back and waits for his next opportunity to strike. And the Derek Minter Straight, we're going to have a look at a replay here. And this is from earlier. This is actually at the start of the race where, and we did see a bit of a touch, and that was straight in, caused a bit of a melee. Cars all over the shop coming out of Druids, and 2 GR86 Cup cars intertwined, which involved Liam Waterhouse early doors and also Ollie Wayne. Tom Stevens, in the meantime, holding on to third place. Craig Durant is not too far. We're going to have a look at another replay here. Now, this is from what happened with the race leader. Matty Chambers went off at Graham Hill Bend. Oh, well, it was self-induced in that case. He went very, very wide, ran into the AstroTurf, touched the grass. The back end stepped out to the right-hand side, put him straight in the path of Ryan Martin, who was effectively trying to just get the hell out of Dodge.
Kind of spoils your day, doesn't it, really, that? But having a very good day so far. Ryan Martin looking at nearly 4-second lead now on Craig Pauly, who himself has got a 6-second lead now. He's 6 seconds clear with Craig Durant and Darren Berris, and Tom Stevens obviously in third place. So those top 2 really cementing their position. The battle, who's going to win that battle for that third podium? But is there anything left from Craig Durant here?
That's what we're going to find out right now, folks, because they are not that far away from completing our 10th and final lap, because Ryan Martin will now power out of the final corner. Not the best of starts from the Scotsman from the Royal Air Force, but he's going to take another victory by a comfortable 7 seconds after 11 laps of racing. Another one on the board for Ryan Martin. And there is the drag race. And look, Chris Durant has timed it perfectly. Pauly takes second, Durant takes third by 2/100ths of a second. We were waiting, and Craig Durant did not disappoint. He got there in the end. Stevens takes fourth, 20 thousandths adrift. Another 3.3 seconds back is going to be Darren Berris, who finishes just under 3/4 of a second behind that's Adam Barron. Luke Arpino, Adam Waters, John Finch and Stu Eatock ran at the top 10 as Cluffy goes for a very, very big spin. And I think that probably reflects the livery on the left-hand side of his car, which has got multiple speech bubbles as well that we've just seen. But
here's the results.
So Ryan Martin takes another win by just over 6.9 seconds from Chris Pauly. So it's a Royal Air Force 1-2. The British Army and the Royal Navy make it into the top 4 this time, thanks to Craig Durant, who pipped Tom Stevens on the line by 2/100ths of a second. It's Alex Goldschmidt and John Knight. And John, We get
Away we
underway,
go.
and that was a bit of a line lock there from Ben Weston, because Stu Eaton, as Eatock has just got past him. John Finch is going around the outside of him as well, so 3 wide. Someone went very high onto the curbs. I think it was Luke Arpino. Someone's gone off track already through Paddock Hill Bend and into the kitty litter, but great start by Eatock. Bit of a bog down from Ben Weston, as there we see Ben still holding on to third place. No, bit of a contact there between Waters and Arpino heading into Graham Hill Bend, but no one making any major mistakes so far going through into Graham Hill. So hopefully no pit manoeuvre is going to happen here going into Hawthorns, but Fluffy was very, very lucky, unfortunately, though. And no, he's not. No, he's not. Out of the exit. So he's gone off. Dan Hardwick has gone off and returned to garage. Tom Stevens was in the pits after that incident coming through Clearways out of Stirling. So not as much drama as we saw in the opening 3 minutes of the first race, though, John. And Paulie is not hanging about. He's looking to the outside of Beres, maybe trying to get the undercut through into Surtees. Beres takes the tight defensive line. Paulie's now going to get the, and you're going to see there, look at the acceleration times. These are 0 to 30 miles an hour. Craig Durant, 2.7 seconds. Hardwick, 3.2. Steve Ward, 3.7. Ben Weston, 4 seconds. Darren Beres, 5.2. And then Chris Slater, 5.4. So these cars will probably hit 0 to 60 in around 7.5 seconds, as Beres is all over the exhaust pipes of Finch, and now Chris Paulie nearly made it three wide. Ollie Wayne trying to keep ahead of Adam Barron, and goes completely off track out of Hawthorns and into Westfield. But Paulie is just, he's like a man possessed, is the number 21 from the Royal Air Force, isn't he?
He's going so well. I'm sure that's a second place in the first race.
We saw, and that was Matty Chambers having another drama. He went off track and he was backwards. So Matty Chambers' evening is going to be one to quite clearly forget, I'm afraid. But this is the battle for what is now the race lead, as Beres has got a head of steam going down Clearways. He's pulled alongside Stu Eatock going into Clark Curve, and the lead has changed, but Paulie's going to try and do the pair of them on the inside. Can he make it 3 wide coming out of the final corner? He's going to get into the slipstream of what is going to be, it's going to be close. We've got 5 minutes to go, and Paulie is up into second. Slingshots past Stu Eatock, bumps onto the curbs, 2 wheels in the air, and still keeps the throttle pinned. And Darren Beres is probably nearly having kittens right now, because he sees a certain Chris Paulie in his rearview mirrors. But this is not just a 3-car fight anymore, because you look in the background, John Finch, Craig Durant and Ben Weston coming to play with these.
Indeed, this is turning into a superb second race, actually, Alex. And all credit to Darren Beres, who has driven superbly. With Michael Clough here, I think we're going to see what's happened when they... It was the smoke in the way. I don't think he couldn't get out of the way, could he?
No, and you could see that Jack Ajewski's rear left suspension was hanging off, as Chris Paulie now tries to go for the lead off of Darren Beres. And now Stu Eatock has said, well, hang on, you two want to scrap? I'll bring the fight to you as well. And they're not giving any quarter here whatsoever. And Paulie makes a little bit of a bit of a unusual exit. I think he straddled the curbing coming out of Surtees. But now we've got Craig Durant. We're on board with him in the cockpit at the moment, going into Hawthorns. It's going to look to slingshot up the inside of Stu Eatock. Eatock keeps it pinned there. Great racing respect between the pair, but Beres has made a mistake. Paulie's up his inside through into Westfield, and now Paulie's got the race lead. Beres, I think, just carried a bit too much speed through Hawthorns into Westfield, and then Paulie saw the door open and bang, he pounced. Durrant's ahead of Eatock. Now Finch is there. Weston is there. Oh, this is getting rather feisty.
Very tasty.
As Beres very late under braking going through into Clark Curve, but the white flag, we're going to have the checker this time. So Chris Paulie pounced at the right time. We are going to run out of time here, but it looks like Paulie's going to win by just under 4/10 of a second. Beres, despite leading for quite a bit, takes second place. Craig
He'll take that.
He will definitely take that. And Stu Eatock, on the final lap of the race, picks the fastest lap of the race out of anybody, 1 minute 38.09. Exactly, there's your results. It was an RAF 1-2 with Chris Paulie winning race 2 here tonight for week 7. Darren Berris finishing just under 0.4 of a second behind, and see the gaps between first to fourth, folks. Everyone was separated by less than a second, or maybe in some points it was between first and second, less than 0.4. So Chris Pawley takes the win for race 2 of week 7. Darren Berris in second position. Craig Durant rounds out the top 3 ahead of Stu Eatock, John Finch, Ben Weston, Luke Arpino, Adam Waters, Chris Slater and Adam Barron rounding out the top 10, covered by 10.7 seconds at the end of 9 laps of racing.